I said, so let's get down to business. I ain't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut this shit down on these clowns. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. What up, what up, what up, and welcome to Pinoy News, man. Listen, all right. So I was just, man, listen, all right. I was over here listening to a fucking stream, right? And legitimately, like I'm over, like I lose my shit when I hear motherfuckers just being ridiculous about things. Like I get tired of motherfuckers coming at shit with this how do I put it, man? This female mentality about shit. Like I fucking lose my shit, like, cause my brain can't handle, legit, it can't fucking handle the female mentality. I can't do it. Because, like, motherfuckers be looking at shit like they fucking broads. And they let broads say whatever they want because they're fucking broads. Like, broads come places and they go, oh, man, I got big-ass titties and I got ass and I got hips. And I'm like, bitch, you got a mental. Because other than that, you fucking eye candy. Right? Like, why would I care about what a motherfucker... Like, I don't care what art says. Right? You ever look at a painting on the wall and go, like, nigga, you got an opinion? You know, like, nah. Because it's an inanimate fucking object when it comes down to it. Like, I want to know, is your opinion intelligent? Right? Is what the fuck you saying coming out your mouth relevant? Like, is what the hell you saying something that I fucking need to hear? Or anybody else for that matter? Are you making the world a better place by me letting you speak on my fucking platform? Right? Because if you're not, then it's my turn to educate you and make everybody else around you fucking smarter. Right? And if you're not willing to change your fucking mental because you feel some sort of kind of way about the fact that, like, the gorilla done motherfucking just clipped your fucking dumb shit and told you stand up and listen, then I don't fucking need you in my fucking life. I don't want you around my fucking shit when it comes down to, like, if you ain't willing to stand here and change your paradigm on things, and if you're not willing to stand here and legitimately hold a fucking different thought inside of your head than what you came into this bitch thinking, I don't fucking want you around as a whole. That's my mentality, right? Because, like, I want to fucking stand here and be able to learn new things on a regular basis, right? You know, I want to be able to go, all right, well, sometimes I'm going to have to throw out everything I fucking know and then come back and have a conversation about it in a different manner and look at something from a different way. And I believe that makes you a well-rounded human being. Because when I look at a guy like Joe Biden, like most motherfuckers look at Joe Biden, they go, he a puppet. And I would fucking completely agree with you. He a Manchurian candidate, right? And it comes down to it. And I mean, that's just the reality of the matter. Like, no one can deny that. But on the same point, what you have to understand is his opinions are held by many. And the reason for this is because no one has stood here and told individuals something else. And no one has gotten through and gone, hey, look, maybe we should sit here and have a conversation about what you think about things. Adam Hartz, what up, man? Welcome, my brother. Welcome. It's nice to see you out here. Right? Because, like, we have to start changing our opinions about shit and not look at things from this duopoly that we have inside of our heads about good and evil and bad and fucking nice and all this shit. Jonathan P., what up, my brother? Right? We have to be willing to sit here and look at it from a multi-layer perspective. Gerard Roberts, what up, man? Welcome, my brother. Welcome. Nice to see you out here. Right? So let's think about this on a positive manner, right? You have to think about this on three levels. One is, what is good for your nation? Secondly, what is good for your family? Third, what is good for you? Because oftentimes those are different, right? And sometimes they're all linked. There's things that are good for your nation that are terrible for you, right? The idea that law and order is good for your nation is oftentimes terrible for a man. Because when it comes down to law and order, we can all, dish out justice at our own free will. We can all stand here and look at individuals and go, yo, look, I can handle mine, right? Like, I can deal with a criminal. I can deal with a burglar. I can deal with an individual running around doing dumb shit because I can clip him. It's not a real big deal to me. I can put him back in line where he belongs, or I can put him in the dirt. Either way it goes. right? I much prefer that the justice system didn't deal with pedophiles. Why is that? Because I'd like to be able to deal with them myself, right? I'd like to put the 12 gauge up his ass and blow his fucking top half of his body the fuck off. That's how I'd like to deal with the situation when it comes down to it, because I'm not fucking scared. The problem is that individuals raising women for the most part are female, and they don't have that ability, right? I've actually seen pedophiles come around, like actual pedophiles, with fucking hammers on them and shit. I've seen this in real life, right? You know what I'm saying? And like, this is a different situation when it comes down to it. As a dude, I go, I can still handle it. As a broad, you can't. And this is why it is that we have the justice system that we have. This is why it is we have a justice system at all, because really it's there to protect women and the elderly. It's not there to protect the man in his prime. A lot of motherfuckers don't know that. It's about self-responsibility and responsibility to your community when it comes down to it. So with that being said, we have to start understanding what's good for you, what's good for your nation, what's good for your community, what is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a whole, it's not always the same thing. And for Joe Biden, his way of thinking was good for our nation for a long time. It's good for certain things in our nation, right? So think about it like this. And this is where me and TFM come to our disagreements about things at the end of the day. It's that I don't feel as though the advancement of the human species is more important than my individual life. That's my mentality. I can just as well live happier and a better life without technology as a whole. Some of the happiest days of my life were spent without electricity. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Some of the best times of my life with my children were spent without fucking electricity. Grilling out, you know what I'm saying? Fucking starting fires, hanging out, stars in the sky, right? And this here is something else, right? Because I like that fucking mentality. You know what I'm saying? I like that mentality of fucking, I have to go and provide for myself because I can. A lot of individuals can't. So in the end of the day, you know what I mean? What's good for me isn't going to be good for everybody else. That's just the reality of things. In like as a whole, right? You know, so understand something. What's good for our nation and what's good for the corporations in our nation, what's good for the technological advancement of our country is not oftentimes good for you as a person, as a family, as a community, as an individual, right? Because if you're not part of that top 1% of individuals who are out here inventing new things and coding and creating stuff and starting these businesses and owning these businesses and investing in these businesses, if you're not able to pick out the future bids and grow your money the way it needs to be grown, you're going to be left behind and you're in bad shape. That's a whole different conversation to be had, right? Because the average worker, the average individual is not good on that level. Their sons and daughters might be, right? But the truth is, hang on a minute, Chad Yoshi, I'll drag you in. Let me sit here and put my headphones in, right? As a whole, the average worker is not as good. Right? Because you can go, oh man, you know, they got cell phones, they got all this shit, they got, you know what I mean, flat screen TVs for next to nothing, all that type of bullshit. The truth is that you might not be better off as a family because your wife might have to go get a fucking job, right? Your family might end up, you know what I'm saying, missing out on a mom. And that's a conversation that, you know, needs to be had in the end of the day. And that's where it is. So with Joe Biden, understand something. He's a corporatist globalist. Yo, Yoshi, what up, man? Yo, mic check 1 2 1 2. Can you talk or no? Because I can't hear you if you're saying anything and it's not lighting up, but you're saying some shit. All right, well, we're gonna keep banging. All right, so Joe Biden, I got a list of his executive orders, right? And I'm gonna read them to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's important. All right, I can roll it here. You say some more shit.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me now? I
can hear you now.
Oh, okay. How do I sound? Do I sound all right?
You sound fine. You sound perfect.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what the issue was. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's cool.
What's up, Pinoid?
I'm chilling, man. Chilling. You know, fucking doing what I do.
Yo,
preaching the word.
I am so glad I found this Chad Yoshi picture because now I have an actual excuse to use it. And yeah, it's totally epic. But anyways, if you don't mind, I actually had a question to ask you in regards to what you were speaking about, because see, it's interesting because I actually agree with TFM when it comes to his hypothesis regarding the advancement of human civilization over certain individuals. Now, of course, not that I'm gonna call you a Luddite or whatnot, but I just wanted to ask, like, so you mentioned before that you don't feel like you're in any danger financially or employment wise of any kind of shift in regards to the the general situation technologically. But like for me personally, it's probably not as pertinent an issue since I work as a programmer. Well, I have a couple different skills, but I really like computers, although it is a very cutthroat industry. So I was just curious, like, because in your opinion, do you think the advancement of civilization, like, because I'm sure you think that it should keep going, but like, I guess the question I'm trying to ask is, at like, do you think it should like slow down, or do you just think that people that are stupid should be taken care of?
Well, it's not. It's all right. So here's the issue that you run into, right? And this is a problem that I have with the whole thing. Every advancement we make in technology makes us worse animals as a whole, right? Like you end up getting fatter, lazier, more worthless. You know what I'm saying? Like you move further away from being the animal that, got you to the top of the food chain. And I see that as being one of the major aspects of the entire conversation, right? It's individuals are, how do I put this? Individuals are not going to continue, or individuals are actually getting worse instead of getting better. Like people are now shrinking. People are now getting to the point where on average, the weights are going up. On average, the IQ is going down and not up, right? And that's not positive for human advancement.
No, not at all. Like, actually, we live in idiocracy, but personally, you
muted out.
Oh yeah, okay, good. Sorry, I was just making sure that the mute still worked. I posit that it's not technology that makes people stupid, though. Like, yes, it's used by governments to make people stupid. It's basically used as a method of control. But if you look back in human history, in every single human civilization, most people were losers. Most people were stupid. Like, even if you look at the Roman Empire or the Greeks, most people are just destined to be fucking losers. And it's just like, and I understand the argument that you're making, and it's understandable given the current situation, but like, personally, I think what's going to save humanity is technology. But the reason why people are getting lazier and fatter is because despite the fact that technology is making things easier for us, it's also, as you said, giving governments, well, or like you said, it's making people lazier. People generally are lazy, but I think the big issue that we see now, especially as far as, people being uninformed, is just the government's using that technology. But that's just me.
Well, all right. Like, well, here's the thing. I don't think it's the government using the technology, right? Like, I think people are going to always make a choice to do what's easiest, right? That's just the basic nature of man as a whole. Like, that's what's got us to the point where we are, and being as adaptable as we are as creatures is the easiest way to do things is always the best. Like we took advantage of, the things that we were handed. Like, we can run longer than any other animal on the planet. Right. It's inherent in us. Like, we have that ability. And what we used to do was we ran fucking animals until their hearts exploded, or ran them off of fucking cliffs. Right. That's how we hunted. And that was the easiest way for us to be able to get dinner, and the easiest things that we can do as human beings is the way that we're going to make do. And that just tends to be how it works. And today we've lost a lot of that easy way of doing things, and we've allowed a lot of individuals to be, how do I put this, to be born that should not have been born, right? There's a lot of people who are breeding who should not have bred as a whole.
Oh yes, absolutely. but like, and I completely Oh, dude, I totally agree with you. Like, certain people should not be reproducing. Absolutely. Although that's hardly anything to do with technology, though. Technology simply facilitated that regression, if you will. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you that the gene pool is totally fucked up, and that there needs to be major, um, let's just say, changes to the current situation, and But honestly, though, again, in every single civilization, most people were losers. Although, at least in most of human history, that number was at a manageable level. Like when 88% of U.S. men are cucks who don't want to take women's, who can't even fathom the possibility of taking women's rights away. Like, shit's fucked up. Like, again, that's 88% of American men. Imagine how bad that fucking number is in every other Western nation. It is absolutely unacceptable. But what I will say in relation to what you said is, I think technology itself, it's more of a tool that we can use to our advantage than a disadvantage. Although I have to ask real quick, if you don't mind, and this is probably a bit of a loaded question, but I would love to know your thoughts on Ted Kaczynski, since we're talking about technology and all that.
Like Ted Kaczynski was right about a lot of things. Right, he was right about a lot of things. And all right, here's another part of there's a couple parts of this equation that I fucking hate with a passion. First off, I hate the ideology of AI as a whole, right? I hate the idea of human implants, right? Like fucking like human machine implants. And I hate the idea of creating perfect kids, right? I don't like any of these fucking ideas. I think they're terrible for humanity as a whole, right? Like, just because I went to college for anthropology, and like I love culture. I love the study of people. Like I do. If I'm a fucking fan of like what other people do, I love my culture. You know what I mean? I'm not one of these individuals who are like, oh, white people are all bad and all this fucking dumb shit. I think that's fucking retarded, right? I hate the idea that we should all stand here and become one type of person and like go towards like, like the fucking eugenics ideology being reborn through the fucking use of AI. Like, I hate that shit too. Like, and not only that, like here's another part of this. The idea of unlimited immigration to continue to push down wages so that like fucking like the general piece of society ends up having their housing costs become more and more until they're fucking slaves. And we end up having like communism because people rise up and go, we can't fucking survive, rather than closing the fucking borders and going, no, you don't come in. It's this simple. You know what I mean? Like, you need to make do with what fucking workers we have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, America's full. I mean, yeah, absolutely. America's been full for a while, I'd say. But here's the thing. Like, the gene pool is screwed, not because technology has taken out Darwinistic selection, but because the powers that be and the governance and welfare. I mean, dude, welfare is a cancer. It destroys anybody. I don't care what race you are, what culture. Like, welfare is fucking cancer.
Well, let me put this way.
Like, welfare is what.
This is the argument I should have used against TFM the other night, right? Hang on, let me put this like this, right? You wouldn't have welfare, and you would not have fucking any of these government programs if we were making goods in America. If companies wouldn't have left, right, legit, and people were, like, we didn't have the mass immigration from Mexico and fucking overseas through like Africa and Egypt and all this shit. If we didn't have all these extra people, inflation would have caught up. It's that simple. You know what I mean? And we wouldn't have welfare. Because if we had printed money, it would have affected everybody. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if that's true or not, simply because, like, when it comes to welfare, actually, you know what? Like, regardless, here's the thing. I think personally that even if there was no welfare simply because of all the goods being created in America, TFM, I think, brought up a really good argument about how, because he mentioned that you were thinking like a mercantilist, in that you wanted all of the jobs and industry to be in America, and he went on about protectionism. And again, for the most part, I agree with TFM. But I am glad that I got you to bring that up, though. an interesting counter argument. But honestly, though, like with the goods being made in America, like I am a huge fan of technology advancing and goods getting cheaper. TFM brought up the standard of living and how like all of that industry that would be in America and all the really bad, you know, like fucking industry jobs, like factory work and shit. Like a lot of people don't want to do those jobs. And again, he also brought up the fact that in the 1950s, certain shit. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. Sorry about that, Pete.
No, you're okay. You're fine. You're fine.
But
like,
I do kind of see what you're.
Yeah, like if you would have had the money here, right? Like, and the thing is, if you print money and it's trapped in America, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't have those cheap goods to be able to sell to Americans. Like you don't have cheap TVs and fucking sofas and T-shirts and jeans. Like if all of a sudden, every time you printed money, now you had to pay American workers to produce that, and your real estate values are going up, and, you know, I mean, fucking, you know, inflation is actually kicking in the way it's supposed to, instead of this, you know, I mean, like we're exporting all of our inflation through, you know, I mean, having cheaper goods and shit and hiding it, which is what we've been doing for the past like fucking 30 years. Like motherfuckers would tell them to stop printing money. Like they'd have to balance the budget. You know what I mean? Like that would just be a thing. Like it would have to fucking happen.
I don't see how, I don't see how that would necessarily stop people from getting the government to stop printing money now, though.
Well, because every time the government printed money, to me, it would inflate.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It would inflate, but the thing is, you don't have to have all of your jobs in America to prevent inflation. You could prevent inflation. Actually, what I feel kind of weird constantly bringing up what TFM said, but it was such an interesting debate between you two. I thought it was fun to listen to. Like making Mexico
this is a
superpower, or not like a superpower, but like making Mexico the primary manufacturer and replacing China with them, moving the jobs to Mexico, which would fix the country of Mexico as well, and greasing the cartels. Like, I don't understand how that is somehow worse than having all the jobs be in America and lowering people's standard of living.
Well, that's not, like, having the jobs in Mexico is not a bad thing, right? As a whole. Like,
you okay? You still there, Pinoid?
Yo, can you hear me? Mic check. Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Yo, I'm
no.
Yo, what's up? Yo, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me?
Are we running into some technical difficulties?
Hang on. Yeah, we should be good, man. Can you hear me? Can anyone else hear me out here? Y'all can hear both, but he can't hear me. Oh, it's you. Like, yo. Okay, cool. You can hear both. All right, cool. Like, yeah, but I'm about to say, like, I'm good over here and I can hear you. All right. Anyway, right. Yeah. So anyway, like, yo, so I wanted to read off to y'all a list of executive orders that Joe Biden was going to pass on day one. Right. I thought that was, you know, I mean, kind of fucking important as far as shit was concerned. Right. And I wanted to show you that, you know, I mean, he wasn't shit but a goddamn corporatist. Like, yo, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I couldn't hear you earlier.
I didn't boot him. Fucking, he booted himself. He came in and he went out and came back in.
Yeah, right, I have to go out and come back in because something happened. Sorry about that, Peanut.
Yo, you're cool. They could hear me and they could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. I don't know what the fucking deal was.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, yeah. All right. So okay. Well, here's the thing. All right. So all these jobs are now going to come back to the United States anyway. Right. Mostly because, like fucking the Corona Chan happened. You know what I'm saying? Like all those textile mills in India, and they can't manufacture goods. So they're bringing them all back to the US, but it's all going to be automated. The only companies that are having a really hard time with this are fucking Google, Apple, IBM, Hewlett Packard, and like basically the big tech companies as a whole. They're the ones who are having a really hard time with this because all of their operations is in motherfucking China. Everybody else has already started. Obama was in office long before Trump. They were already getting the fuck out of China because of the cost of fucking labor and taxes were going up. Right. And
Yeah.
so
And,
like now, like Google and Apple, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. Go ahead.
So, yeah, you mentioned that all the jobs are coming back, if I understand you correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the reason they're having a hard time now is because they have to start rehiring Americans, I take it.
Well, no, Google and Apple and these individuals, all right, the amount of investment it takes to like fucking like make microchips is massive. Like you got to grow the crystal, dope all this shit, and like it's a huge investment. So
yeah, building a microchip is extremely complex. I don't even understand it. It's a very interesting process.
Yeah, like you have to grow crystals in order to do it and cut them and dope them and fucking put all the shit in. You know, and by the way, what up, Templar? What up, motherfucking Tennessee? Yo, it's nice to see you the fuck out here. And my boy Jew's out in the goddamn chat. Fucking hang on, man. Let me see. Fucking legendary Jew with Vivi, my brother. How the fuck you doing, Lavish Patch Kid? Did I miss anybody? I think that's everybody, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Who's in the chat? There's about 30 people watching at this point. Anyway, so my problem is this, right? Is that what they've done is they've inflated the currency and they've hit it with cheap goods, right? And
oh yeah, that's a horrible combination.
Yeah, and it's not
all,
like.
And what I find disgusting about this is the fact that it was all over mail-in voting. Like the fucking Corona bullshit was used by the demon craps as a method to get people conditioned, first of all, but second of all, it was used to push mail-in voting. And I mean, like, Biden stole the election anyways, and so like we kind of already saw what happened with that.
Yeah. Yo, what up? Yo, Templar, man, listen, I'll be honest with you, I have been gone since not this Friday, this past Friday before that. Right. I've been on the fucking road and I'm heading home tomorrow and I can't wait to get home. I have an axe and some dressers and armoires waiting for me. And I cannot wait to go chop them the fuck up and throw them on the fire and sit with my girls and motherfucking just hang the fuck out and spend some time in the motherfucking woods and hanging out with my family. It's going to be fucking beautiful. And then eat some goddamn turkey on fucking Thursday and shit.
Oh, dude, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, Pinoid. But you want to know what's hilarious though? And this I'm sure I'm not the only. I'm definitely not the only person who thought this. But for the longest time, I always thought you were black.
No. I'm Italian. It's a little different. And the blacks copied a lot of our mannerisms and shit when we were mixing in New York. And what up, Vivi? You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, like so. A lot of our shit ran into their shit, so and like it went vice versa, back and forth, you know, in the 90s and 80s and shit when Italians were really, really big, you know, like Ralph Macchio and Joe Pesci and De Niro and all that stuff, and they started naming themselves fucking mafia figures and like things of this shit, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like
what up?
Like the 80s was huge for the American mafia, but and even the 90s they were pretty big, but like they're not as powerful now as they used to be, I don't think, the Italian mafia.
Oh no, they died in the 70s. It's just all those movies and video games and fucking TV shows. You know,
I thought they died in the 90s. Wow.
No, they died in the 70s. Back I'll tell you what, like I was born in 83 and that year my parents got married. And my grandfather actually had just gotten out of jail, right? And he went back to jail at the wedding for stealing a truckload of meat for the reception.
He stole some meat for the wedding reception. That's very interesting.
He stole a truckload of meat for the fucking wedding reception and shit.
Is New York pizza as good as I keep hearing it is, or is it like overrated?
It's 100% better than you think it is.
Wow. So is it actually amazing?
Yeah. Like the food. Actually, I'm from Pennsylvania, right? But like I eat New Jersey and New York. I'll be honest with you. And most of the Italians from New York and New Jersey moved to like PA, West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you come to PA and you don't go to Philly, right? I mean, you can go to Philly, but you're gonna have to go to like a back alleyway to get some shit because a lot of it's a tourist trap at this point. A lot of tourists, you know what I mean, fucking like they dumb it down. If you head in like Lancaster or like Harrisburg or York or Wilkes-Barre, legitimately you will get food that you've never had in your entire life. Like it's so amazing. It's the greatest shit you'll ever like. I didn't think like down south barbecue was that good because like I'd go to like mainstream places, barbecue down by Beale Street and shit across from Graceland, and I was like, this is whatever. Like fuck, I can get this back home. Then I went to Kansas. I was about it for like a week and a half. Michael Hatfield, what up, man? Right?
Beep boop.
Yeah.
Beep boop. You're kind of roboting a bit.
Oh yeah. I had a text message come in. I do this off the Wi-Fi on my fucking phone and shit because I'll be honest.
I see.
On the road and you can't get Wi-Fi everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're on the road right now.
yeah. I'm up in Connecticut actually. Like fucking, I'm pretty close to home at this point.
Dude,
I got
cool,
here,
man.
I got an appointment in the morning and I'm fucking unload and get the fuck back to my neck of the woods and fucking chill. It's gonna be nice. $3,000 in my pocket. I'm fucking gravy at the moment.
You're on the gravy train, I take it.
Yeah. That tends to be how it works. Make your fucking money. As I said, like I'm not concerned financially for me. Right. Like I can always make money. Like, believe it or not, in my lifetime, I was a steel worker for a while. I did a lot of warehouse and logistics work. I was an order selector. I was actually I did logistics for one of the largest freight shippers in the world, which is known as Deutsche Bahn. They run all the rail in fucking Europe and shit, and all the international. They came in and like bought out this company called Burlington Air Express and stripped them out, and like. We were doing all the domestic moves for the international freight. I was running like, $10 million worth of freight a month. I was head of quality control for Samsung appliances for the Northeast US, right? I was a manager with an executive bathroom, an assistant, office, whole nine.
Yeah, you definitely have quite a resume, man.
Right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then I got out of that, I was like hanging out, chilling for a little bit, and I went and got my CDL. I was like, fuck it, I can make $80,000, $90,000 a year and be on the road. Cool.
But that's the thing that made you successful, though, the fact that you're adaptable. Like you did all kinds of shit. See, I'm very similar to you, and my dad had a lot of jobs that he would do as well. My dad did all kinds of shit. I mean, he worked as a chef in a lot of different restaurants, and he even worked for the government for quite a while. And he's a builder. He did I think he might have done plumbing. I'm not completely sure though. But there were a lot of different things that he did, and like when you mention all these things that you've done, it reminds me that like it's always good to have different backup plans in case you get laid off, and because like if you only have one career plan, or if you're only able to do one thing, then you could be screwed really badly, especially if a robot replaces you. So it's but like most people like. I think you would agree that most people are not as adaptable as you are, and that they haven't done as many things as me and you have, Well,
I'll tell you, I come from the Appalachians, so like there's a lot of us out here, right? I'm from I'm from the mountains, so there's a lot of us that they can do all this type of shit. Like I have a buddy of mine, like he was a carpenter and he laid floor and rug and tile and all this type of shit, and then he went and became a professional chef. Right. Nice. There's a lot of us out here who can do this type of stuff. My dad was an HVAC guy. Right. I suck at carpentry, but like I can still I can plumb my ass off. I can fucking fix motors. And I've built boat motors from scratch. This is all things that you can do. You just have to be willing to get out there, learn these type of skills and shit. I can tear down a Chevy 350. My sons at like 4 and 5 years old were tearing EGR valves off and replacing alternators with me and shit. And
oh, dude, that's awesome. You're teaching your kid this stuff. That's smart. That's really smart, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like I used to go scrapping, right? Like fucking when the price of steel was up back in like 2007, 2008, 2009, when asset prices were real high. Fucking like the price of steel went up ridiculous, and like fucking the price of copper was like $3 a fucking pound and shit. It was fucking retarded. Like, oh my god, I'll bet you 1 month we made $15,000, right? Just going out with my pickup truck.
Oh my god,
$15,000.
You got to tell me how you did that, man. Like, wait, what year was that month?
That was 2011, right? Fucking, there was a flood here, right? There was a flood here, and everybody threw out all their appliances because their houses all got flooded out. And so I went and picked them all up, put them all out in my front yard, and me and my kids spent 2 days just tearing out all the compressors and radiators and fucking electrical wires and separating it all out, and started taking them all down to the scrap yard and shit. I found like a whole fucking I found a whole bin of coal at my fishing hole, right? I went to go fishing. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask, so you scrapped a bunch of old appliances and tech and all that other people were throwing out because they had no use for them. So you sold all the wires and the metal plates and all that to a scrapyard. Dude, that is so awesome, bro. Like that's like, dude, I'm thinking, you know, if I like that's an awesome strategy. Just go anywhere where there's like a flood or a hurricane or something, and I can potentially make a lot of money doing that, bro. Thank you.
There were whole restaurants that got flooded out, right? And like, you know, them big, you ever seen them big like fucking hoods on top of their fucking restaurants where like the fans go to?
Oh yeah.
Somebody threw away 2 of those, and they're all aluminum. They were like 200 pounds of fucking aluminum at a shot.
That's a lot. That is, dude, that's a good chunk of aluminum. And I take it you sold that too.
Fucking right.
Dude, you're giving me some forbidden knowledge right now, bro. That's awesome.
Right? Like, you know, like, dude, like, you can, like, there's always a way to make money, right? I was on a dock, and like, they stripped out the dock, right? Legit, check this shit out. Here's a hustle we got into. There with the flood, the Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey, when everybody got flooded out.
Mm-hmm.
We rented out our forklifts off our dock and sent them up there for fucking $120 a day.
That's awesome. That's a hell of a hustle, bro.
Right.
But the thing is, what you said was absolutely true. There's always going to be ways to make money. So even if, like, you know, a bunch of people are losing their jobs to robots, like, dude, like even if technology advances to like a really huge level and it keeps going, there's always going to be new jobs until like humanity gets to like a post-scarcity civilization, there's no way to tell when that's going to happen, if it happens. But like just imagine, okay, so imagine if the apocalypse does happen, okay? So hypothetically something does happen, and imagine if you're like a fucking scrapper and you're going around the wasteland battling raiders, and then you come across a bunch of like old cars and shit, or really any kind of computers or cars or any technology, and you sell it to like local people that are like buying that shit, like or let's say even like if you're in like a cyberpunk dystopia, so if you're in a city and you decide to go out to the Badlands and basically someone would do what you did. They make a bunch of money outside the city. Then they come back into the city with the new money that they made. So that's like a net profit, if that makes any sense. Well, yeah. I want to know what your thoughts are on that. Because, like, dude, I absolutely agree with you. That's fucking awesome. I have a friend of mine, like, years ago. Like, there's this dude that I knew who he used to go to the dump and, like, take random computers and, like, car engines and shit. And he would actually, like, try to fix them or like even scrap them for certain parts, and he would do something very similar to what you were doing. And like, you know, back then, and of course, you know, that was a while ago. I never really got into that, but like I thought to myself, well, shit, what if I started doing that? And that was only a few years ago, but like, bro, some people probably do make a living, or at the very least a nice chunk of money on a side hustle scrapping. So that's fucking awesome, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of these dudes out here. Her dog Nappy, what up, man? Welcome. Right. There's a lot of dudes out here. Like I know a dude, he's retarded, like legally, right? You know what I'm saying? Like Tom, right? He hired himself at the mill, right? He came in, right? Filled out an application, went back out to his car, put his boots on, came in, started pushing a broom. Like 3 or 4 days later, he's sitting down with the bosses, and he sits down and has lunch, and he talks to him for like 3-4 minutes, and then, you know what I mean, fucking whatever, like hots back up, you know what I mean, fucking gets back to work or whatever. And legitimately, the big boss looks at the other bosses and goes like, yo, did you hire him? No. Did you hire him? No. Did you hire him? No. Somebody better fill some paperwork out in this motherfucker. We're going to end up getting in trouble. And that's how this dude got his fucking job at the mill, right?
He just went there and started working, and nobody knew that he went in there. If I understand you correctly, he started randomly pushing a broom, and nobody knew why he was there.
yeah. Like everybody just assumed he got hired, right?
Oh my god.
Yo, and he ended up getting a job out of it. The guy worked there. I think he still fucking works there, to be honest with you. And this was back in 2008. And I mean, the mill started back up in 2006, some shit like that. And he had been there since it opened. And so this dude here, though, like, yo, this motherfucker legit, he'd go out to local fucking creeks and pan for fucking gold. And he had fucking mason jars full of fucking gold in his motherfucking house. And he'd acid wash keyboards, like the piece under the keyboard, right? That has all like a little electronic shit on or whatever. And apparently all that shit is silver. And he acid washed it and got all the silver off there and cracked it.
That's awesome. And this is somebody who's legally retarded too. So that's
legally retarded.
That is pretty damn impressive. I mean, wow. That is pretty awesome.
Right? I mean, like, there's always a hustle out here for you. You know what I mean? There really is.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, like, I'm always down for, like, finding a hustle and doing what I got to do. Like, as I said, I'm not concerned about myself. Right? And I get upset about whole towns dying. Right? And I get pissed off when I watch these fucking people and they're all going to food banks. And I go, you live in the fucking mountains. Why are you going to a food bank?
Yeah, like they could grow their own food. There's enough tillable land in America that, you know, there's a good chance you don't even have to worry about that.
Right? And not only that, like, yo, you're a fucking Appalachian. You should be growing you should have chickens and pigs and shit. You should be okay already.
And I don't think it's even it's not even that expensive to get chickens and shit, right? Like to actually
they're like fucking 65 cents a piece at Tractor Supply.
Holy shit, you could buy an actual alive chicken for 65 cents?
Yeah.
Bro, I live in Canada, so buying a fucking steak is like $10. Holy shit. Bro. Holy shit,
they're chicks.
Man.
You know, they're chicks and shit. You know what I mean? Like you can buy.
Oh yeah, but they grow up to be chickens though. That's the thing. And as long as you take care of them, and if they reproduce, then you could just have like, that's how farmers operate, right? Like the animals reproduce. So it's not like machinery where you have to buy new machinery. Animals could just have sex and then create more of themselves. And so yeah, like dude, like if you're living in the Appalachians, you could easily do that, right?
Yeah. this is what I'm saying, right? It's just people have lost their fucking way, you know what I mean? And with all this fucking computerized bullshit and the nonsense, it's like they go, oh man, it's way easier to go to the grocery store. I'm like, yeah, but like fucking, like what happens when the grocery store is not available? Or if you don't have no money, like what happens when you hungry?
Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, like it's you know, people are just fucking lazy. That's the problem. Like people are lazy as hell. And honestly, dude, I wish I was born in America because, like, dude, Canada is fucking horrible. We have no gun rights, no freedom of speech, and because of the stupid protectionist policies, like buying food up here is a real pain in the ass. Like, I have friends who, like, they live close to the American border. Sadly, I don't. But they basically go across to America just to buy food, and they come right back. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Templar, I don't care about like the cost benefit analysis. My problem is like legit, you should be eating what the fuck it is you grow as much as possible. Like that's always been my mentality. Like, yo, you know, like either A, you can go buy all your shit from the supermarket, or you can go out to the garden and grow it your fucking self. Like it's pretty fucking pretty easy to do so. Like, I think that's a better way of doing things than, fucking constantly going to the store and buying shit that you could easily, do yourself, and where it comes from. There's no chemicals on it. There's no bullshit. You're fucking good. Like, I think that's important. And then on top of that, like, what happens, oh my God, like, for fuck's sake, like, heaven forbid something bad happens to the currency. Like, say, they drop us as a global reserve currency, and now we have to, adjust what it is that we do, right? Like, now you're already okay because you have eggs, you have fucking shit, you have protein, you have vegetables in your garden, you can trade with your fucking neighbors, and you have a community around you. If you're influencing others to do the same thing, which you should be doing, we'll all be okay.
You also have to make a no-go zone. A no-go zone is mandatory at this point I think personally. But like, dude, everything you described though, like, that falls into the prepper lifestyle, and I think being a prepper is awesome. Like, people, like, especially nowadays, people should be preppers. Like, where I live right now, I have a well. Like, I don't drink that stupid cancer-ridden water from the town. Like, I have my own well. It's purified water. It's awesome. And I don't have any, like, veggies grown out here. Like, the land here is, like, the soil's not exactly the most tillable. But, like, I have a generator. I have a fucking well. Like, shit's pretty good where I am right now. And, it is what it is, but I think a lot of people are just really, really lazy, and they refuse to adjust the way they do things. They refuse to get educated to do more things. A lot of people would just rather sit down and watch sports ball and kneel for fucking, SJW bullshit than actually do anything.
Well, I don't I don't knock motherfuckers who watch football. I watch football, right? Like, I'm a football fan. Like, I played football when I was a kid. Like, I was a fucking jock, and I wasn't a jock. I was really good. I was really good at sports when I was younger, right? Like, I wasn't one of them individuals who, like, like, I went to high school with a jersey on and shit, because, like, by that point I had some serious fucking injuries and I could no longer play anymore.
Dude, I got injuries from weightlifting in high school.
I
pulled a ligament in one of my arms. It was
right.
my right arm, I think, too. So, like, I can't bench press as much as because I healed back then, because when I was younger I was able to heal. Like, I'm in my early 20s, so thankfully I'm not super injured. But, like, when you injure yourself lifting heavy objects, like, dude, it could fuck you up. Like, thankfully I was never super injured, but, like, I used to be really reckless. Sorry to just interrupt you. I just have to say,
you're good. Like, fucking that. Like, I snapped my arm in 6 places and broke all the tendons and shit.
Dude, I'm so glad that never happened to me. What happened to me was light shit compared to that.
Yeah, I could no longer, I tried to join the military, and because, like, my wrist only goes back like 40 degrees, right, compared to, like, the 90 it's supposed to go, they wouldn't let me to fuck in, because I couldn't do I can't do a proper push-up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not only that, but, like, if you're trying to handle a gun, like, if your wrists can't move very well, that could potentially be a handicap.
Yeah, but, like, and that's so, like, I couldn't play. That happened when I was like 13, 14, some shit like that. So, like, that was the end of the day as far as, like, playing sports was really concerned. After that, it was all selling drugs and whatever, and working. And, so fucking, but I was really good at sports, like, before that, like, fucking, I was, I played baseball and football and hockey, and I'm trying to think here, what else? And basketball, and, like, I was really good at all these fucking things. And so, now, like, I get to watch football, and fucking, it's, I don't know, something to occupy your time. Cause, like, it's always numbers and bullshit and memorization and all that type of stuff, fucking which team beat who, and, fucking percentages and, all that nonsense, and watching individuals play the game. So to me, it's, I don't know, it's a welcome relief from fucking politics and garbage. Cause I don't watch TV. Right, I don't watch any shows on TV.
I don't watch TV anyways. But here's the thing: like, unfortunately, politics did kind of enter a lot of sports. I mean, it is what it is. But, like, the only sports I watch, like, sometimes I'll watch boxing with my dad, which is cool,
I love boxing.
Like, yeah, boxing is fucking entertaining. Like and Mike Tyson is back. He's getting back in the ring. Like, this is like a god coming back into the ring,
I can't
dude.
wait.
It's,
I can't wait.
yeah.
I can't wait. Ain't that coming up this weekend?
I think so, yeah, dude. I know my dad's gonna be watching it. I'll go over and watch it with him, like, because that's an event as far as I'm concerned, and like I like spending time with my mom and dad sometimes, like whenever I can. So like, yeah, but well, boxing and MMA, but more so boxing than MMA. But and you know, but like even then, I very rarely watch sports. Like, I mean, the only like physical activity that I actually do myself is either weightlifting or I run a lot, you know. So that you know, and I tend to do that fairly well. But for the most part, I just like being behind a computer screen.
Oh, like, all right, see, I don't know. I do this shit because it allows me the opportunity to learn and, you know what I mean, like fucking educate myself and, you know, broaden my horizons mentally as far as stuff's concerned. And I don't know, I think I'm remotely good at it, which is pretty cool, you know what I mean? Like, which is weird, but like, yeah, I still work the heavy bag when I get to the house, you know, and I go out back and trim trees and cut grass and burn stuff and, you know, work outside and all that type of shit because I got to stay active and doing things, you know what I mean, as much as possible. I don't run.
Like you're almost 40, so you got to keep up the metabolism and the activeness.
Yeah, that's for fucking sure.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, when once you start getting up there in years, I'll be honest with you, getting outside and doing things is a little bit more difficult than it used to be. Like, I still go hiking, I go to the river, I go fishing. I'm working on getting a fucking boat. I was hoping to have one this year, but it never really metabolized, never materialized. I was hoping to have a boat in the water by the end of this year, by the end of this summer, but it just didn't work out because I got fucking busy doing art shit and taking care of things. So, you know, and then on top of that, like, I ended up paying off my one car early and then getting that in the shop and fixing it. Cause I gave my dad one of my cars. And I'll be honest with you, like, yo, this last bunch of baby boomer fucks are worthless. Right? Like, yo,
oh, dude, that's like 90% of baby boomer fucks though.
Like, yo, they're so worthless. Like, legitimately, like, I'm standing here and I'm like, dude, I gave you a car and you ran it into the fucking ground. Like, why am I taking this car? Why do I have the car back now and it needs $3,000 worth of fucking work and I already done paid it off?
Bro, we gotta, like, you can't trust random baby boomers.
It's my fucking dad. What do you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Well, to be fair, like, yeah, I it's perfectly understandable that you lend your car to your father, but I mean, dude, like, oh my God, like you like, so tell me, like what happened between you and your dad when you lent him your car and he fucking trashed it?
Well, like, nothing at this point, right? Like, fucking, I'm upset at him. He knows I'm fucking upset at him and shit, right? Like, I know. All right, he got caught for like 4 DUIs, right?
Oh,
Yeah, you know how that works, right? The fucking baby boomers drink all that type of shit, whatever, right? So after his 4th DUI,
they love their booze.
Yeah, and he couldn't get a car, right? And so, like, you know, he started living like a fucking juvenile delinquent and shit, spending his time in the goddamn bars, hanging the fuck out, whatever, you know what I mean? I was
a
like,
man his age should not be doing that.
I feel you, 63 years old, you're way too old to be doing coke in the fucking bathroom and shit, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
whatever.
like, oh, dude, he was doing cocaine at 63. He could have died from that.
That's what the fuck I'm saying, right?
Wow.
So, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yo, fucking welcome to dealing with fucking baby boomers and shit. They're fucking
and yeah, like, dude, like, the problem is baby boomers still think that they're, like, some of them still think they're young, which is just so fucking delusional. Like, oh my God.
Right? Like, yeah, so, like, you know, I mean, I'm standing here and I'm like, all right, well, like, this motherfucker needs, like, be able, because he does HVAC work, so he drives to, like, you know, fucking kitchens and whatever and fixes stuff, and, you know, he got fucking work to do so he can pay his fucking bills, so he can have a place, you know what I mean? I don't have to fucking stress about him paying the rent. So I'm like, all right, here, I'll give you my fucking car, you know what I mean? I'll get another car, and I'm on the road most of the time anyway, so I don't really need a fucking whip at the moment, but I went and got another car. And so I give him the fucking car. I'm making the payments. I'm covering the insurance. I'm covering the registration. I'm covering the oil changes. I'm covering, all the bullshit. This motherfucker comes home to one day, right? And the car's not, I come home to one day and the car's not there. I'm like, where the fuck's the car? And he's like, oh, it's over at the fucking gas station by fucking the bar he likes to hang out at. I was like, what the fuck? So I go over and look, and the motherfucking shock is hanging out of the fucking car and the wheels on the ground.
Oh my God.
Right?
What the fuck? Dude, if my dad did that, which he would never ever do that, like I'd be like, old man, the fuck are you doing? I'm not lending you anything ever again. That's it. That is it, old man. You're done. Your privileges with me lending you shit is over.
Right? Right?
That's so if I actually like had a car, which I don't, unfortunately. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money to fucking buy one.
Oh, see, when I was your age, cars were like $200 a piece, right? And like it was a different thing back in the day. Right. So I stand here and I fucking get the car and I put it in the shop and I get the motherfucker fixed and I put it, put it back. And this motherfucker starts falling behind the rent. Landlord's fucking calling me and shit. He's like, Tom, your dad's behind the rent. I'm gonna have to evict him. I'm like, I can't fucking do that. So fucking I give him the car. I'm like, fucking go make some fucking money and get your ass back to fucking work. He goes and starts making some money, gets his ass back to fucking work. All of a sudden, the motherfucking car is parked outside the fucking house, 2 flat tires, right? And the motherfucking bitch is barely goddamn running, and both of the motherfucking the front and the back fucking shocks are blown out of the motherfucker and shit. Because this son bitch, like, he decided to get the fucking car inspected with one of them fucking guys who just fucking put a goddamn sticker on as long as the light and the fucking horns work.
You know what's funny? The roles are basically reversed. Like, you would think by his behavior and what he's doing to your vehicles that you would be the father and he's some juvenile kid. You're his son and you're acting more like a grown-up than he is. I mean, like, no offense. Like, I understand that he's your father. It's crazy. Like my parents would never ever do anything like that. Like my parents are extremely, like they're very mature. Like they're not. I mean, look, they're boomers, so they're kind of cringy, but like they're not like that. I'm really sorry about your dad busting up your vehicle though. That's gotta suck, bro.
It's fucking garbage, right? You know what I'm saying? So like now I took the fucking car from him, put him in the fucking shop, and he's like $2,500 worth of fucking work done to it and shit, right? In order to get it to fucking be, where it's supposed to be at, running and shit, and all the fucking nonsense it needs, and brakes and fucking oil change and fucking transmission swap and all the fucking shit that has to be done to get this car back on the road so I can take it. And and like I'm probably gonna give it to my fucking son and shit. And I mean, it's just like, for fuck's sake, like this is what baby boomers are like today.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like, dude, old people from 50 years ago who are all dead now, like they were so much more mature. Like, like imagine being a kid in the 80s, and you said you were born in 1983, but like imagine being a kid in like the 80s or the 70s. Old people back then seemed to be a lot more mature and like they actually knew what they were doing. And what sucks is that, dude, the baby boomers had everything. Like, they were handed down the ultimate, like, heirloom. And they fucking squandered it so fucking badly for especially the Gen Xers. Now, look, I really hate Gen Xers. Like, one of my fucking bosses at one of the jobs I was at was a Gen Xer. He was a fucking cocksucker. I hated him. I wanted to fucking punch him in the nose, but I didn't because I don't really like fighting people. But,
I feel you. Like, work's work. You don't hit motherfuckers at work. You know what I mean? Like,
of course not. Yeah, of course not. And like I fancy myself kind of a gentleman. And with this avatar, it makes it even more hilarious when I say that because Chad Yoshi is a Chad Yoshi. He doesn't play with that shit. Yeah, there's lines and limits to what you do, right? And where you do it as a whole in life. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in a bar, it's a different situation than when I'm dealing with a customer at work, right? It's a whole different line about what you're doing. There's different situations where people need to have different behaviors. But yeah, like most Gen Xers that I've met though are fucking dicks. Like people in their 30s think that they can talk to people in their 20s like me, like as if we're kids and as if they're better than us, and it really pisses me off.
Oh well, yeah, I mean, like it just. You got to remember, there's a lot of worthless 20-year-olds out here right now.
Oh, absolutely. Well, most millennials and like I'm a Zoomer, I think. But like, you know, like
I don't know where that line is. I know, like, all right, my son was born in 02, right? And he's 18 right now. I think he's a Zoomer. I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like he is, but like here's the thing. I heard millennials are from 1996 onwards, and that after 1996, that's when you're a Zoomer. Because like
I don't know what the rules are, right? It's like, yo, it's all right. Like generations are supposed to follow like 20-year patterns, right?
that's what I heard. Yeah.
Right. So like, you know, when you talk about like the fucking greatest or the baby boomers, right? It's 1945 to 1965, right? And then it
was
run
the silent generation before that, and then before the silent generation, it was the greatest generation.
You know, I mean, they ran from 25 to 45, and then like a Generation X guy should be 1980 or should be 1985 to fucking 2005. Or so, wait.
And don't get me wrong,
to 65,
though.
And then 65 to 85 should be Gen X, and then 85 to fucking 2005 should be fucking millennials. But like they don't have it listed in that way. Fucking, it's all types of retarded and fucked up. I have no idea.
Yeah, like they don't have it like it's like nobody actually has a real definitive idea of where the generations end and all that. Like it's all very vague. Like I was born in the late 90s. Like I'm slightly older than your son. So like I think I'm either a really young millennial or a really old Zoomer. Whichever one I am. And
nobody has any idea where. That's just like I'm either a late Gen Xer or an early millennial. I don't know which one I am, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like your guess is as good as mine at this point. And don't get me wrong, like not all Gen Xers are dicks. It's just a lot of Gen Xers are lazy fucking assholes. I'm just being honest here.
Like I went like here's my thing. Like in being a millennial, was like I went from. I was potty trained in an outhouse and shoveling coal into a furnace at 5-6 years old. And I mean, chasing chickens when I was a kid to today. Like, you know, when I was growing up, we had fucking like bullshit Apple computers with the Oregon Trail on it. And like when I became an adult was before fucking 9/11. Like, how the fuck am I a millennial?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like because like I assume that you were Gen X because you're 37, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that you're a Gen Xer. Like I always just assumed that you were, and like TFM is probably older than you are, I think. Or
no, me and him's the same age.
Oh yeah, because like you and him are both old. Well, okay,
well, like remember, he went into the Navy right after 9/11.
Oh, I know. Like, dude, he was an adult in 9/11. He was able to join the army, and he was in Operation Desert Storm or some shit. Like, he was in Iraq and Afghanistan in the early 2000s.
He was in, Like, Desert Storm was 91. He was in Iraqi freedom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I
have an uncle who's almost fucking, God, he's fucking 55, 60, and he was in Desert Storm.
I got my U.S. wars wrong. Sorry about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of different wars.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking wars, and I actually knew dudes who served in fucking Beirut.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Dude, how old are they?
He had to be. This was 08, 09 maybe. And he had to be about 45 then. So right now he's probably about 56, 57.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's pretty old to get into the army. Like, if you're in your 40s, like, especially if you're trying to pass the fitness.
Well, no. Beirut was in 88.
Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Yeah. I thought you said I thought you said he joined the army in his 40s. I was like, what?
No. Like fucking, like he served in Beirut and shit. Like, there's so many different fucking wars. Like fucking these guys all fucking served in and shit. It's crazy. Like the guys who went to Grenada and Kosovo and all this shit back in the 80s and early 90s and whatnot.
Beirut was in the late 80s, but like what you mentioned 2008, so that kind of threw me off a bit there. But yeah, I mean, Beirut, man, that's pretty crazy. And
Yo,
I gotta
like,
say, like, I love how you and TFM, despite being Gen Xers, are fucking awesome. Like, I actually respect you guys. Like, you guys have actual wisdom. But most Gen Xers are fucking faggots, though. Sadly. Oh, I'm sorry. I really hope I'm
no,
not like.
you are allowed to say whatever. This is a freedom of speech platform.
Okay, because
Here,
I
all
don't
right?
want to get your stream banned.
There's a reason why everybody in my chat has a wrench, right?
Oh
Because
yeah,
I don't
the
want
wrench
anybody
no state.
ever to be fucking silenced ever. You know what I
That's
mean? That's
awesome.
kind of where it gets down to. Like, I want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to say whatever the fuck they want when they want to say it.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate that. It's just like, cause like I know you're fine with it, but I'm just worried about like YouTube, because like they get really antsy about certain words. Like I'm not going to say the N word, obviously. Because if I did that, then YouTube would probably they would probably for sure come and like show the stream pretty quickly. But yeah.
Nah,
I mean,
nah. Like, yo, YouTube's not as awful as everybody puts it. It's all right. The thing is you have to like know where you're advertising to, right? Like, don't show your content. Like, that's how I got a bunch of my strikes, is I showed my content on Twitter, and like it ended. Yeah, and like a bunch of the leftists came over and
then the Bernie bro brigade came in and started flagging your shit. Yeah, never ever do that on Twitter. Like that's bad.
Yeah, I got burned off of Twitter anyway. I got my shit got nuked like 4 times. I'm not going back.
Dude, I fucking hate Twitter, because now they ask you for a cell phone number, and even back when I was on Twitter, like dude, I loved being on Twitter, because I would love trolling and being mean to leftists and trad cucks and people I disagreed with. And like, dude, I would like there was this one fat lesbian, and like and she had like the fucking nose ring that a lot of women, like, I don't understand why any woman would wear a nose ring. And like she fucking, like, women who do that look like cattle. Like, I'm just saying, like, you look, you want to be treated like a bitch, like an actual cattle, then by all means get the nose ring. And like I showed her like a picture of like a cattle prod or some shit. and like
yo,
I
said we should chain bitches to radiators one time, right?
Oh my god, dude, like Mad Max style, like the fucking like
Black Snake moan and shit. And like, yo,
yeah, dude,
right?
Like, imagine like, you know those pirate ships with like the mermaid on like the front of it? Imagine like Mad Max scenario where some dude has his ex-wife tied to the front of the 16 or 18 wheeler. Like, that'd be fucking badass. And she's totally naked too.
Well, yeah, like, so like what I did was like I was on Twitter and I was having an argument with some dude about how, like, we should take away women's rights and shit, and like fucking
yeah.
like how like dudes are responsible for their families or whatever, right? And like fucking he goes and he said some fucking bullshit, and I was like, oh, well, all right, how about this, right? Like, yo, could you stand here and take away the rights to your wife if, you know what I'm saying, like, she was doing heroin and she was being a junkie and shit, right? Streamlabs just fucking redid its shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but what if, like I said, what if like your wife's a fucking junkie on heroin, and I mean, would you be willing to chain her ass to a fucking radiator at that point?
Oh, dude, that's so epic. Actually, Pinoid, my question to you is, would you be willing to do that? Because if so, then that's definitely based in red pilled.
I've done this. Like, it's not a new thing, right? Like,
wait, you've actually done that?
Yeah.
Dude, that is so awesome. But how did you not get like attacked for domestic violence though?
Because the bitch knew she was wrong.
Well, that's good, bro. See, you keep your pimp hand strong, but like 88% of men in America can't fucking do that. And of course, in Canada, it's well over 90%. I personally think it's probably like fucking 98%. But it's like, oh wait, dude, this awesome guy in your chat, and there's a lot of cool people in your chat. Sons of Patriarchy says, that's them there chastity radiators, partner. It's fucking badass. That is so awesome, bro.
Yeah, like, you know, you have to
I
understand.
love the wrench no state.
Yeah, it's great. Like, fucking, then people can say whatever they want and they don't get banned. And nobody there's no like moderators trying to keep you quiet with your dumb shit or whatever. Like, fuck that. Say what
There's
you want
no
and
horse
enjoy
face
yourself.
Susan. No horse face Susan coming out of the woodwork and saying, "Oy vey, you can't say that." Ugh.
That's where I'm at, man. Like, oh, fuck that. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. I don't fucking care. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you know,
it's
I'm not here to like make you be a fucking grown up. You know, fucking say what the fuck you gotta say. If you're upset, you know what I mean? Like, get it the fuck off your chest, get out of your fucking mental and shit. You know, we'll fucking talk about it. I'm cool with that. And that's just like anybody ever has a problem with what I say, I'm the fuck in and have a conversation. The link is always in the motherfucking Discord. I make sure that my shit's open.
And you know what's funny? Like, you mentioned you were arguing with a dude on Twitter. I argued with so many communists on Twitter, like, it's crazy. And like, a lot of these commies, they will block you and then report you, or what they'll do is they'll screenshot your shit and they'll fucking send it, like, they'll post about it and try to get their friends to flag you. Like, I've actually gotten followers from that. People saw my shit and they were like, "Whoa, dude, that guy's hilarious. I'm gonna go follow him."
But like, I was on Twitter one time and somebody was giving away a car, right? And this broad chimes in and she goes, "I'm a single mom. I want a car," right? And I go, "Bitch, you wouldn't be a single mom if you fucking would close your legs, right?" And she's like, "Well, I'll have you know, my son has autism." And I'm like, "It's not my fault you fucked your brother, right?" And apparently she was fucking some big YouTuber or some bullshit, right? Because like he done fucking retweeted my shit, and I got brigaded so hard that legitimately my name was trending on Twitter. I had like fucking 4,000 notifications. It was fucking crazy. My shit was maxed out.
Bro, I dreamed about that shit. Like, I always wanted that to happen, but I never trended.
Yeah, like,
bro, good job.
Yeah. I ended up having like fucking these YouTubers like fucking bring me in and like put me on stream and like, "Tom, why did you do that shit?" I was like, "Because it was funny." Like,
yeah. Yeah, like that's what I say too. Like people say to me, "Dude, like, why do you argue with so many communists and Bernie bros and shit?" And like why are you out here like being mean to these like fat chicks who are, you know, selling their nudes and shit? And it's like, because it's hilarious, because I like making fun of stupid people. Like,
like here's my thing. It's like, yo, look, where my mental is, I'm gonna treat a bitch the same way I treat a dude, right?
Exactly.
Like, yo, if I think you're wrong, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. I'm not gonna sit there and just pretend that you're right because you got titties. Like, you know, I got bitches that got titties too. Like, I can fuck them whenever I want. I don't have to fuck you. Like, I'm not desperate for pussy. I'm okay. I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? And like, motherfuckers don't get that shit. I'm just treating them the same way I treat anybody the fuck else, and they get fucking really mad about that shit.
Oh yeah, dude. One of my crazy ex-girlfriends, like, when she cheated on me, and she did that once. I fucking dumped her, and like then she, like, I gave it like a week and she tried to crawl back to me, but like she started to get really, really overweight, like, afterwards. Shit started to get crazy. And like she started apparently doing cocaine in a bathroom too, and it's like, bro, like, some of these people, like, they latch onto you, and and like the problem, and like people that are mentally unstable, it's obvious. I mean, look, women cheat, okay? Like, especially in a society, and I don't hate women, but like in this current society, women cheat far, far more than men, and they do it, and they also falsely accuse guys because they know they can get away with it. But like, if we're gonna pretend that everybody's equal, then everybody's equal. Like, I'll fucking shit talk you regardless of what's between your legs.
Well, that's kind of the whole point. Like, I had a buddy of mine. He was he brought this bitch over. Smoke show. Oh my God, was this bitch gorgeous. She was fucking sexier than fuck. And we were both probably like mid-30s, right? Fucking like this is probably about 4, 5, 6 years ago, something like that. And I was fucking this bitch, and he brought her over to this crib, and like fucking this little fucking she was like training to be a veterinarian, right? Fucking yo, Michael Hatfield, you remember that shit? Yo, he said he had 350 people bitching at him just for cheering me on. Like, yo,
Oh yeah.
I was not fucking around. Like, I was enjoying myself. Right? Everybody was like,
awesome.
why are you this way? And I was like, why are you a simp? Like, I was getting it done. But anyway,
yeah, like why are people cucks? You know, like people
right?
like that's what I love.
Yeah.
Like saying
but like
that
so,
to people.
so like it is fucking like, and she was like 23, 24, maybe something like that. Little veterinarian joint, fucking nice, fucking, you know, solid C cup titties, nice ass, perfect face, like fucking dusty blonde fucking hair, but like that real soft satin shit, you know what I mean? And
Nice.
like it was a natural color, and just fucking amazing looking bitch. Fucking, and she started getting up in my face because she thought she was fucking smart, and I just dug into her. I was like, bitch, this is why you wrong, and da 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 da, right? And I gave her both barrels. And fucking that night he went home and fucked that bitch, and she moaned my name.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing. It's like TFM always says, like, dude, women will respect you if you give them the pimp hand. Like look, just because 88% of men in the US have limp-wristed, limp dick, non-pimp hands doesn't mean that, like, if anything, that just means there's more bitches for us at the end of the day. I mean, like they respect that.
Bitches like confidence at the end of the day, right?
They do.
And they want you to be secure in yourself. And the reason why they want that is because they want to be secure because they're not on their own, right?
Oh,
and
absolutely, yeah.
Ultimately, like the whole point of taking women's rights away is not because like, oh, you know, I want to run the world or whatever. Not. You know, it's because I'm responsible. It's because I'm the one that has to deal with the consequences of your dumb shit. Like,
well,
you know,
because
like
women are stupid and they don't have responsibility. That's the thing. Like they're not like women are not responsible creatures. They're just not.
They're not meant to be. They're not supposed to be.
Exactly.
Right? Like, yo,
they weren't evolved to be responsible. Like men were evolved to be responsible.
Yeah, when you have children, right, and like your kid pops out a woman, like there's no point in your life where you'll ever feel like more like you go, holy shit, this is a giant responsibility, right? Like, this is fucking huge. This is massive. Like, I have to take care of this kid and this woman for the rest of my life, whether or not I fucking like it, right? Like, they are my responsibility, and that's a fucking crazy thing when you don't have any fucking rights to be able to do so. Like, yo, that's the problem.
Yeah, and again, men are able to handle the stress of high level work and dealing with multiple jobs and all that. Like the problem is right now, like the workforce is doubled because women are working. If women weren't working, just imagine how much more cheap shit there would be. Just imagine how much better the economy would be. Like everything would be better if women didn't have rights. It'd be fucking epic.
Addy, what up, man? Y'all started the stream because like I got tired of listening to fucking y'all talk about motherfucking. I got tired of listening to Atema say fucking retarded ass dumb shit, right? Legit gaming, my nigga. Fucking I'll be honest, and here's the thing, like, yo, I'm not hateful towards anybody. Like, if I hang out with gay motherfuckers and straight motherfuckers, and I mean, there's furries around here who fucking come on my fucking streams. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, if you got something to contribute, I'm more than willing, you know what I mean, to fucking let you do whatever the fuck it is you want to do. It's your business. You know, if you have something to say, fucking come on and say it. You know what I mean? If you want to contribute, fucking come and contribute. That's like the whole point of this shit. And I don't expect you to not be gay, and I don't expect nobody not to be gay. I don't expect nobody to change themselves. Like, I want you to come as you are and contribute to fucking shit as it comes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, really... like I don't have any issues with any, like, look, I don't care if you're black, gay, tranny, and a furry. Like, I could care less. It's just like, as long as you're not a communist and as long as you're not a cuck, like, you know, but like even if someone is a communist or a cuck, I'll still talk to them. But like, I mean, I have pretty high standards for who I This has been a good stream, and I love talking to you, bro. But I wanted to ask you questions about the Biden lockdown and all that. I actually wanted to mention something because, like, it's been a good stream, but like we kind of went all over the place, and I feel kind of bad because the title.
Like, no. Like, yo, people love this shit, man. Like, yo, this is the whole point. We're supposed to be doing this. Like, I had a stream legit that like evolved into us doing like cooking recipes, right? And motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yo, we need
that
more
was
recipes,
a good stream.
Right?
Oh yeah,
like, yo,
oh yeah. I appreciate that, man, because I was just kind of worried that maybe I was taking the conversation too far off. But
like, yo,
well,
you gotta be dudes at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And like, yo, like as a person, it's important that we're people first. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta be people.
Oh yeah,
and we have to be.
And don't get me wrong.
That's why, like, sports and shit, boxing, MMA, whatever. Fucking like hell yes, right? You know what I mean? Like
awesome, bro.
Be dudes. You know what I mean? First and foremost, let's be dudes.
Hell yeah.
And be cool being like fucking two men having a conversation. And then, you know, when we want to get in some more technical, complicated shit, fuck yes, we can. You know what I mean? That's what's important. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And it's again, like it's a good stream, man. And I'm just, and you're very easygoing, bro, and I appreciate that. But like I'm starting to get a little bit white-pilled because last Saturday night, or yesterday, I watched a stream, and it was the TFM show, and they were speaking about how Biden is potentially going to get kicked out. Apparently, Trump could keep hold of office as long as the right-wing elites do something. And I completely agree with them because, again, people are sheeple, you know, but if the elites actually do something, that's huge. I just wanted to know your thoughts on whether or not the evidence will go through and whether the Republicans will actually fight. Because here's the thing. If they actually do fight and if Trump gets another 4 years, that is pretty good. Although TFM mentioned something interesting about how apparently if all the evidence goes through and if they actually start cracking down on the swamp and the deep state and all of that shit, apparently like this could turn the clocks back 100 years. But that's way too white-pilled for me. Like I don't know, man. I still think the collapse is imminent. But I want to know what you think of this though, about the whole Biden thing.
Well, all right. Here's my thoughts. Right. You're way more white-pilled than I am. Right. If you believe that. Right. Because like, yo, I have zero faith in our system. Like zero. I have no faith in our system to work. Right? Like, yo,
I have zero faith as well. I am 100% black-pilled as far like, well, okay. I'm white-pilled about certain things. Like I really want there to be Terminator waifus, but like as far as America's survivability is concerned, it's over. Like I'm sorry, but America's fucked. But anyways, I'll let you continue. But I'm right there with you, bro. Black pill boys all the way.
So gaming literally just said, it says fucking the U.S. elections. The AP is called the presidential race for Joe Biden. See more on Google. It says under your stream, Pinoid. Like, of course it does. Like, yo, that's what it. This is what I'm saying. Yeah. Legit. I'm
surprised.
Zero faith in the motherfucking in anything. Like, all right.
I'm surprised Google doesn't say Kamala Harris is president yet.
Yeah, right. Like, so like here's my mentality, right? I hold tight to certain complete like mentalities and paradigms. People will not take action until like the pain of inaction is greater than the pain of action. Right? And I really think that's where it is. Like we're not suffering enough yet. Like the pain needs to continue more. We need more pain before people are willing to fight. Right? I
mean, people have bread and circuses that keep their eyes off the prize. But like what they mentioned before was that the right-wing elites might actually be doing something. And like again, if they actually do everything they can, I can totally potentially see the public rallying around that, but I don't think the elites are going to do shit. Like I have a little bit of hope, like a little bit of white pill hope, but not much.
let me
It's
put
mostly
this
black pill.
let me put this way, right? They chop off kids' penises, all right, and give individuals drugs to stop them from going into puberty as males, against the wishes of their parents. And no school buildings have blown up yet.
Exactly, dude. I said this. I've said this to friends of mine. Like, it's insane to me that literal child mutilation is happening and nobody fucking cares. Like, most people just they don't give a shit. Like, as long as they get to have their bread in circuses, they're just gonna keep going along with it. Again, people are fucking lazy. Like, your average normie is lazy as fuck. And like just like nobody cares about fathers who lose their kids or guys who get falsely accused and then wrongfully convicted of like sexual shit. And it's like nobody cares about all the corruption and all the child molestation shit going on with Pizzagate and the government and all that. Like, dude, normies are so dense, man. Like, we are living in the movie Idiocracy. We are.
Like, yo, it's not even idiocracy. It's
Hello?
not. Yo, can you hear me?
Oh shit! Hold on.
Yo, god damn it. Right, like, yo, I'm a motherfucking let me see, this motherfucker comes back in real quick. Hang on a second. Like, yo, because this is a really important goddamn point at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is probably the most important shit, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Also,
All right,
I have to ask, what was the last thing you heard me say?
I heard all of it. Fucking
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Right. Like, at the end of the day, when, you know what I'm saying, it's not idiocracy, right? It's really not. This is Rome, right? This is the Romans twiddled while motherfucking Rome burned. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Like, this is, people have become far too comfortable and they're not willing to give up what it is that they want. You know, Eddie Griffin used to have a joke. He said, fucking these motherfuckers out here in Islam or whatever, suicide bombing and all this shit. He said, you couldn't get Americans to do that. You couldn't get black people to do that. He said, well, you know, no. Jesus, he said, Jesus gave me this fucking, you know what I mean, nice house. I think he would want me to live in it. You know what I mean? And that's really where it is. You know, people have been pacified.
Yep, people have been. But here's the thing, like, you're absolutely right that this is like Rome is burning and that we are like experiencing what Rome did. Well, probably worse than what Rome had. But here's the thing, okay? When I mentioned idiocracy, it's just like I think there is an element of idiocracy just because of how stupid people are. But generally speaking, I think your analogy is more appropriate when it comes down. Well, that and 1984. Like, where there
right,
is...
I mean, you want to know what the real problem is, though? There's no barbarians.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you could argue that the Muslims will take over, but like, that's, I mean,
yo, they're gonna have a long swim.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, again, they're not going to take over the world. The people that are going to take over the world are either going to be the Russians or the Chinese, in my opinion. Because,
No. Like, yo, Russia's in the worst, right? Like, you're in the worst shape of any country in the entire planet right now. They're in worse shape than countries in Africa. Like, yo,
what? Really? I didn't think Russia. Like, I knew they were not doing like overly great, but
1% of the Russian population has HIV.
Holy! Why? Why is there so much AIDS up there?
Because 10% of the population is on heroin.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
1 in 10 Russian fucking moms right now. 1 in 10 Russian pregnant moms have HIV.
That's gross. That is really fucking gross. So yeah. So, okay. So China. I'm hoping that the CCP will be destroyed and that China will break up or just elect like libertarian capitalist people instead of commies. But like, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I definitely don't think Islam is going to take over the world. But I'm just curious, like if who do you think is going to become the next big powerhouse Once America falls.
It's going to be a group. There's going to be a group of countries.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the U.S. is always going to be in the mix because, like, our military ability, right? No matter what happens, we have the military, right? Our military is unmatched and nobody can fuck with us. But France, Japan, Argentina.
Dude, France is fucked. Like, France has absolutely zero future, dude. Like, they have an actual Islamic caliphate. And, like, in 20 years, they're going to be, like, minority white and mostly Muslim.
Here's
like,
here's the problem. Here's the problem. Okay, so how do you stop your... Okay, so the U.S. right now provides all security for the shipping for the entire world, right? All trade security for the entire world. Like, me and TFM agree on this, right?
Yep, it does.
Yeah, so if the U.S. stops doing that, right, which we're going to stop doing, right? Who's going to protect the world's trade?
I mean, like, America has a hell of a burden. I don't know if any nation will specifically want to have that burden unless it will specifically benefit them.
Let me put this like this. There's only a couple of countries who can, and it's France,
exactly,
Japan, Argentina, fucking a little bit of Russia maybe, but they don't have any real ports other than in the fucking the bottom of by China. Australia, New Zealand, right? But like legit, like you're gonna have to like deal with these countries in these regions, you know what I'm saying, in order to be able to move your goods around and get supplies. So what happens to China when it needs oil and it has a border war going on with India, and India holds the gates to the fucking Persian Gulf?
Oh man, that's a good question. Like, two countries with over 1 billion people. I mean, that's and also I have to ask, would Japan blockade China?
Well, Ben Shabuski just asked that question. And would Japan blockade China?
I didn't see that.
And Japan doesn't have to blockade China because Chinese naval vessels can't go more than 1,000 miles from China. And their closest fucking oil is 6,000 miles away. It doesn't have to blockade China.
Yeah.
All America has to do is tell India, do what you want. Oh, what about Turkey? Turkey's another big player in the world that motherfuckers aren't talking about. Like, yo, Turkey is legit going to take over the fucking Persian Gulf.
Oh, I'm sure about that, yeah. I'm absolutely sure that they're going to do that, although...
It's going to be a conglomerate, right? Like, France is going to run Europe, right? The only reason Germany is where it is because America makes everybody equal.
Until France falls, because France will fall very soon.
It will not.
How?
France is not going to fall, right? Because like the French order is going to fucking continue on, and they will sit there and just knock every ship out of the motherfucking Mediterranean if it needs to, and tell Germany to fuck itself because it's not going to be able to get any supplies.
Dude, if their government collapses due to an Islamic uprising, they're not going to be able to do that, though. Like, they're not even going to have a navy at that point.
Yo, Joshua, Brazil's in worse shape than fucking Europe is right now. Like, everybody talks about Brazil. Brazil's in way worse shape demographically than Europe is.
Bolsonaro's pretty funny, though. He's pretty based.
He's based as fuck, but it doesn't matter. Right? Because what happens if you're not having kids? Right?
Oh yeah, it's bad. Like, Brazil, they need to get their pimp hand strong.
You know what I mean? Like that's really where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like Brazil's fucked. Like Brazil's done for. Like they're over with. And not only that, the only reason anybody buys anything from fucking Brazil is because they have the extra money at the moment to do so. What happens when they no longer have extra money because all their people are retiring and they don't have any investment? What happens then?
Yeah. But like you mentioned Brazil and how they're done for, but for some reason, like you still think France is gonna if you're saying that like once America collapses, France is gonna get their pimp hand strong, then I agree with you. Because if they take their women's rights away, they could totally become a superpower. And because of their positioning and their navy, they could definitely run Europe, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, they're gonna run Europe as a whole, right? They don't like. There's no one else. Like
Yeah,
Britain, Britain has two aircraft carriers, right? Britain has two aircraft carriers, right? That's it.
What? Just two?
That's it. They sold. They used to have more, but they sold them, right? They sold the last one in 2011 to Brazil, right? And it was garbage. Like it's fucking old shit. So Brazil created two new aircraft carriers. You know what they did with them?
What did they do?
They gave them to America and said, "Here, we'll fight with you the rest of our lives for the next generation, right? As long as you continue to help us in our trade partnership, so we can leave the EU."
I see.
This is what I'm saying. Like, yo, France is it. France is all they have. Like, there's no one else. Like,
but the thing is, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's like I'm just concerned about France's future as far as their actual society goes, because, like I said, like nobody's having any fucking kids in France. Like it's a real nightmare.
Having kids as a whole.
Exactly. But again, like if France collapses, if their infrastructure goes for a shit because they don't get their pimp hand strong, they're not going to be able to be part of that conglomerate. That's my argument.
Yo, France created the EU to have control of Germany, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't work out well for them, right? You know what I mean? But
it didn't work out well for anybody.
Well, in particular, France. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Yeah.
Right. So France is going to stand here and end up fucking, you know what I mean, taking care of Europe as far as their transportation needs are concerned. And so therefore France will end up running Europe as a whole, right? Because Europe has to import almost all of its energy. Almost every fucking ounce of it. So they're going to need somebody who can stand here and go get shit for them. Right. And nobody else has the ability to do so. Germany doesn't have any fucking no connections to the fucking any oceans. Fucking Switzerland, Denmark, and Holland don't have any population. There's like 5 million people in the whole of the fucking, you know what I mean? What do we call it? The fucking, those 3 states. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're just, you know, and then you got to worry about Russia. Russia legitimately, like, Russia's at the level where they have to expand their fucking borders in order to shrink them. Because they can't defend their border right now is larger than it was when it was the USSR. Because like, yeah, so like they don't have the fucking population to be able to defend against all the people on their fucking border. Right?
Well,
they can't
like
they have. Russia
is the largest country in the world. And so to be able to defend a country like that with their like, look, if they had like 500 million people, or if they had 1 billion people, they'd totally be able to do that. But the problem with Russia is that, like, their population is spread fairly thin for the most part, and such a small population, like they really, really need to start having kids. But I have to ask though, like, when America's out of the picture, and so America can't enforce feminism down everybody's throats, do you think that Russia and France, or like do you think any country is going to just, you know, get their pimp hand strong and take women's rights away, or do you think it's going to be a more gradual thing, or do you think it's not going to happen?
Well, here's the thing. First off, you need to stop thinking in the manner that feminism is the root cause of fucking people not having children, because it's not. Right? That's not the reason people aren't having kids. Right? It's urbanization that people are the reason people are not having kids. Right? When you have a farm and you have agriculture, you have people out in the country, right? You have people away from the city. Kids are helping you because, like, they can till the land, they're a help on the farm, they do things, whatever the case might be. When you have kids inside of a city, they're a luxury item. They're like,
dude, I completely disagree with you, which is fine. You know, nothing wrong.
No, literally, it costs more money to have kids in a city than it does in, like, away from the city, because you don't have space. It's like, there's a reason why people in the cities don't own Rottweilers and fucking Huskies and Malamutes, right? They don't own those dogs unless you're fucking extremely rich because of the fact that you don't have space for them.
Okay, so what you're saying is women's empowerment wasn't what, and women becoming educated and being brought into the workforce and chasing careers and all that shit. Like, so you don't believe that any of that contributed to people not having kids?
Oh no, I believe that contributes a lot to people not having kids, right?
Okay.
But like what I'm saying is the root cause of it was way before that, right? Germany hasn't been having kids for 100 fucking years, right? Long before feminism happened. Right? It wasn't feminism that killed Germany. It's the fact that all their fucking population lives inside of a fucking city. Right? Like once you reach the point where like 90% of your population lives in a fucking city, well, then you're not going to have any more fucking kids because people don't want to breed in the city because there's too many of them. Right? It's too hard to be able to raise kids, especially with our modern standard of living and social services.
See, I understand your argument. It's just I don't know if I would agree with that, because again, there's tons of people that I've seen in cities who either want to have kids or who did, and who just live like somewhere within the, I mean, well, I know a lot of stupid people in the city have kids, but you know, that happens all over the place. But like the problem with your argument is, well, okay, here's the thing. I'll put it to you this way. Women's empowerment, like I do agree that urbanization happened before, well before women's empowerment and feminism, but women's empowerment and feminism is, I would say, the biggest contributor to people not having kids. I don't believe it's urbanization, because urbanization only affects a certain portion of a nation. And again, if you look at the divorce rates, and well, I'm sure you've seen the statistics, but like I don't know, man, like again, like if we got rid of urbanization completely, let's just say hypothetically, a lot of women would still, like most women would still not be having babies. Like if we're talking,
they would have babies, right? If you move them away from the city, right, where like jobs are fucking available for females and things of this nature, right? You know what I mean? Like where, like, you know, if you have a female way out in the fucking woods, she's gonna have a fuck ton of kids, right? Because she doesn't have a job. And she's not.
Oh well, yeah. Okay, you know what? That's a good argument, because she doesn't have a job. She's not going to be able to chase a career, and living out in the boonies would keep her away from a lot of that urbanism. You know what? Okay, maybe like, see, I'd like to know what TFM thinks of this. Come to think of it, because like, I would. Have you asked him that question before? Because
no, not yet. I've been trying to come up with the proper argument for it. You know what I mean? Because like there's a lot of it. Like feminism is a chunk, right? But like the biggest chunk of it is fucking urbanization, right? It's people who are stuck in tiny apartments and don't have the ability to have kids because they're fucking expensive to raise inside of a city. Imagine trying to pay for a 3-bedroom in New York, or fucking San Francisco, or LA.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, like, I disagree with that, though, because again, look at cities in the 1950s and back in the 60s and even the 40s. Like in these older eras of America and the broader world, like people in cities were having kids. Like I don't really understand, although I'm thinking TFM would probably disagree as well, because he did mention, like, he believes in the concept, or like the fact that women's empowerment is the biggest chunk. I view that as the biggest chunk, although, you know, I could be wrong, but I mean, because I'm not like
if you look at the countries who are the most urbanized, they're the ones with the lowest populations. Flat out. You know what I mean? They're the ones with the lowest fucking reproductive populations, like Japan, like Korea, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Fucking Italy, right? All these places that have massive urbanizations, right? You know what I'm saying? That have massive amounts of population living in the cities. Like the United States, the only reason we are okay, like remotely okay, is because of the fact that only like fucking 52% of our fucking population lives inside of cities.
Interesting. I'll have to think about that because I'm not an expert on the economy. I don't have all of the economic arguments, but it's something to think about anyways. I mean, I'll have to agree to disagree. But also, if you don't mind, there was this question I had in my head for a while, and
Sure, what's up?
it's something I wanted to bring up much earlier, but I got sidetracked. Although it was a very pleasant sidetrack, it was hilarious.
I feel you.
But yeah, so okay, let's be honest. When the collapse happens, do you think it's going to be a Mad Max collapse, or do you think it's going to be like a zombie apocalypse collapse, or like what kind of apocalypse do you think we're looking at here?
It depends on where you are, right? And that's you got to remember, we have a continent-sized country, right? So like, it's going to be different in Las Vegas than it is going to be in Massachusetts and Boston, right? There'll be two different things. It depends on where you are and what your resources are. Like, for instance, if you live in Texas or the Southwest at all, you're fucked when it comes to water, right? Like your ability to get water is fucked. But where I am, like we have fucking copper pipes that are just banged into rocks that spit out water year round for free. And people just stop on the side of the road and fill up jugs. Right.
That's
so you'll
awesome.
you'll never run out of water and shit. Right. So like, it depends on where you are as to how your life's going to be. If you're already on a level of where, for instance, where I live, we, for the most part, live locally, right? We have suburbs that have places that, have like fast food and things of this nature. But for the most part, once you leave like the big strip of area that has like strip malls, everything's mom and pops. All the grocery stores are locally owned. All of the the convenience stores are locally owned. They're not Texacos, they're not Sunoco's, they're not Speedways, they're not, any of these big fucking, hitters and shit. They're small, local owned places. All the fucking restaurants are small, local owned places. All the fucking markets and shit are all fucking small, locally owned places that have locally grown fucking food, right? And locally grown fucking meat. So we already live in we're separated from the rest of the country, right? We're already on that level where if tomorrow the groceries like Walmart closed down, it would just be normal. It would just be back to like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but most of America is fucked though if a collapse happens, especially the cities. The urbanized areas would be the most hard hit.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also worth mentioning that well water is much cleaner than water you'd get in the city.
Yeah. Well,
it's
yeah.
I guess it depends, but like a lot of cities, whether it be in Canada or America, a lot of the city water, like people who drink it for years and years and years, they end up getting cancer because of the I forget exactly what it was in the water, but
chlorine, fluoride.
Yeah, fluoride and chlorine and all that shit. It gives people cancer, but thankfully, I had well water pretty much all my life. Now, granted, I used to live for almost 3 years, 3 years, a little more than 3 years. I used to live in a city, and I was drinking I was drinking water, like the city water, unfortunately, which is really. I hope I don't have cancer, but. I don't think I'm gonna get cancer though, because I was only in there for a few years. But like, if you're in there for like 20 years or some shit, you're probably gonna get cancer.
Yeah, there's places that are really bad, and then there's places that's not. Fucking Ben's talking about he had acne, and then it cleared up the moment he left. I have the same problems depending on where I am. Like when I used to go down like my mom's house or some shit like that, and I'd get a shower down there or something. Like legitimately, like my whole body would itch and it would just be completely dry and scaly and shit. Fucking because of how fucked up the water was, where the fuck she lived at. And she lived in a fucking like a town. She didn't even live in a fucking city. But that's kind of the deal. What about what about bottled spring water? Glass. If you can keep it in glass and keep it out of the fucking sunlight, you're okay. And I mean, that's kind of, again, like it's all about your situation and how you live. Like really, water is not that difficult to get depending on where you are. You got to remember, most people 300 feet below your fucking where you're standing is water. Right. So it's all about whether or not you're willing to fucking go and get it, and if you have the ability to do so. I'm big into prepping and stuff and having that ability. Like me, like worst comes to worst, I have a bag, I'll just walk into the woods, I'm fucking fine.
Well, it's also worth noting that like if you're in an area and you randomly start like creating a well, like the police might come and fuck with you, and you might have to get like a permit or some bullshit. Like there's also a legality issue as well, because like let's say you do get your team together and you start like building a well, some people might be like, oh, well, you have to have a permit for this, you have to sign these papers. Oh, like it's fucking stupid sometimes, but
Well, let me put it like this, right? If you do it inside of your house, you're okay, right? If you you know what I mean, and
that's
do
true.
what you got to do. Depending on where you live. Again, like you have to assess your local situation. What are your neighbors like? What type of neighborhood do you live in? Do you have duplexes? Do you have brick houses? Is it hot there? Is it cold there? Do you have the ability to do solar? Do you have the ability to do wind? What's the fucking petrochemical areas about your fucking place? What's the logistics like? What are the roads like? How many roads do you have leading in and coming out of your fucking area? These are all important things that you have to consider when you're thinking about what happens when shit collapses.
Exactly.
Right?
But also, in the cities, do you think it's going to be a Mad Max style apocalypse? Like what do you think the cities are going to? Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, the cities are going to turn into fucking like, and I'll be honest with you, like they're going to have to trade with other countries. Like, they're not going to be able to get goods from us. Like that's what's going to happen. Like they're going to get cut the fuck off.
Yeah, well, I mean, like a lot of these neighborhoods are just going to become cut off, and like it's gonna divulge into some really, really fucked up shit. Like Mad Max is exactly what it would be, but like I would almost be tempted, and I don't want to like come across the wrong way, but I would almost be tempted to want to just go in there for a bit and collect some commie scalps and then just go out.
I agree with you.
I could get shot. I could get killed though, so I'd have to think about that. Like I'd have to actually like.
I'll tell you what. I have a video on my channel called SHTF fucking 1 year in hell. It's about a guy who was surrounded in Sarajevo. Right. I don't know if you ever heard of Sarajevo. It was
I haven't.
There was a conflict in a country called I think Bosnia or some shit like that. And what happened was this city ended up getting completely surrounded, right, by fucking military, and it was cut off for an entire year. And this guy survived the entire year being inside of a city with no resources other than the occasional food drop from the Americans. And he tells his story and about what he did and what he needed and what would have been nice to have, them type of things. And legit, I think you need to listen to it. It'll give you a lot of information about what life is like in a city when you have shit. You know what I mean?
I would love to actually watch that video, come to think of it. I actually, you know what? Shit. If you could just no, it's all right. Yeah. Well, like if you could post a link in the live chat, that'd be cool if it's possible.
Hang on, let me see if I can fucking find it. Hang on a minute. All right, let's go to.
But thanks, man. I appreciate you telling me about that. Now, luckily, I don't live in a city, so I don't have to worry about that. But like, I'm just wondering, like, would I be like, let's say a city, like, well, not every city is going to get surrounded. Like, okay, if an apocalypse does happen, there's not going to be a government. So like, it's basically just going to be the wasteland. But my question to you now is, let's say hypothetically, you decide, all right, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna blow some commies. So you go in there. Now tell me, what would your loadout be? Because I'm gonna tell you my loadout. So I would have an AK-47. My secondary weapon would be like either a shotgun or some kind of SMG. Actually, no, it'll be like a classic World War II Luger from like Germany. That would be fucking epic. And my melee weapon would be an authentic Japanese katana, like a really awesome sword. So what would your loadout be, Pinoid, in the wasteland?
My loadout in the wasteland, I actually already have it all prepped out. Right. I got a 12 gauge, fucking 22 long rifle and a fucking 30-06. Right. I have about 1,000 rounds for each. And
dude, Tennessee says, okay, now this is getting LARPy as fuck. Dude, I fucking love this shit. I love talking about this shit. It's awesome. And it's not LARPy. It's not, well, I mean, okay, it is kind of LARPy. However, like, in real life, like, I am a badass. Like, I mean, again, the apocalypse hasn't happened yet, but I could totally see me and probably Pinoid too, even if he is a little old. Like, we could totally kick ass.
I am not going to go look for trouble. Right.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's good.
That's kind of my mentality. I'm not gonna go look for fucking trouble and shit. Right. All right. So I put the link in the chat. That's a video I mirrored from somebody else. Right. It's an important thing. All right. So, yeah. Here's the thing. Your mentality is that of a young man, right? And that's kind of a problem because you're gonna end up dying. Right. Yeah. Like, you're gonna end up dying on that type of level. Like, you want, like, get a machete. I'd recommend getting a proper buck knife. You know what I mean? A really decent fucking buck knife. Something you can,
well,
shit, some stuff up with. That type of thing.
Well, I have a really awesome military heavy duty K-bar that my dad gave me, and it has a compass on the hilt. And within the hilt, you could actually have matches in there. It's a really awesome combat knife. Like, it's a military. Oh yeah, it's like a Rambo knife. It's fucking awesome. Like, dude, K-bars are great. Like, my dad's knife, it could really, really cut into some. Oh wait, shit, I can't hear you. Oh no, hold on.
Yeah, he was good. I would just mute it out. You know, because I had to, like, fucking cough and shit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, like, man, listen. I was muted for a second, man. Like, I had to take I had to take a leak.
Yo, sorry, bro. But,
you know what I mean? I had to take a leak. I was like, I don't want niggas hearing me piss and shit. But, like, fucking, you don't need like an offensive fucking bladed weapon, right?
Yeah.
Well, like, that's for, like, emergencies, right? You need, like, that's like emergencies. You should never go looking for trouble, but always be willing to handle yours if need be.
Yeah, that's true.
I have, like, here's the other thing, right? Silver. You better have, like, silver's probably the fucking easiest way to go as far as having a way to be able to trade for goods or get passage if you need to. That's something a lot of people don't think about. You know, it's fucking, you might have to pass through some stuff, and you'd be like, hey man, you're gonna fucking, I'll hand you, you know what I mean, fucking half an ounce of silver for whatever, you know what I mean? Like, let me slide through your land, or, you know, fucking let me get safe passes through your neck of the woods. You know, these are the type of things that you have to think about.
Silver and copper are both pretty good, but silver would be the best to get.
Not silver's period. You know what I'm saying? Silver, you don't want to carry gold because gold doesn't break down well. You know what I mean? Like, being able to, like, pay for shit. Like, unless you're planning on bugging in, you know what I mean? And, like, you have a good neighborhood around you, then, like, you know, fucking gold wouldn't be a bad situation. People, like, you might want to have other fucking people that might be help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when you mentioned that I have the mentality of a young man, and I am a young man, so that's true. Like,
it's not a terrible thing. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, we all did that when we were kids.
I appreciate I really appreciate your honesty. And people have told me before, like, dude, you can't just go solo in the apocalypse. You're just gonna get killed. Yeah. But it's like I really like working alone. But, like, the problem is, like, in an apocalypse, I don't want to die. So you're right. Like, I shouldn't, you know, I was only talking, like, hypotheticals.
Okay. So
but
like, think of it. Let me tell you an old adage, right? Fucking this is like an old adage somebody told me one time. An old man looked at me. He said this. He said, "All right, look, there was an old bull and a young bull sitting up on top of a hill overlooking, and I'm saying a herd of fucking female cows. So I don't fucking know what they call them, right?" And the young bull looked over at the old bull and he goes, hey, let's go down there, run down there and fuck one of them fucking cows, right? And the old bull looked over at the young bull and he goes, how about we walk down there and fuck them all? Right?
Yeah.
I think that's important to understand. All right. Like, yo, look, the easiest path, you know what I'm saying, is not to go out looking for shit. Just fucking chill. You know what I'm saying? Find a way to find your groove, have some skill sets. You know what I mean? Have things to trade with other people. You're better off with a fucking pound of sugar than you are in out the fucking, a gallon of acid.
That's good advice. I appreciate that wisdom, Pinoid. So what you're saying is it's probably not the best idea for me to like go into a communist run or like a gang run area and collect some scalps and then yeet out, like leave the area.
Have you? All right. I have a question for you. How many fucking shootouts have you been in?
Of zero.
Okay, see, there's a thing. All right, you need to talk to some veterans, right? I'm not a veteran, but like I've been shot, right? And I've been in them situations where bullets are flying, and you know I've watched men die, and you know I've seen all these things. It's a whole different animal when it starts happening in real life. It's not a fucking movie. It's just not.
Yeah, it's like I play lots and lots of video games, but like I am aware that the Boog is probably not going to be like a video game.
Have you ever did you watch the Christchurch the Christchurch shooter?
Yes, I have. I saw the video. Yeah.
Did it disturb you a little bit? Because it should have if you're a person.
Oh, it was disturbing. Like, dude, my heart rate was rising when I watched it. It was really fucked up.
Yeah, like imagine that in real life. Like, imagine those are people, and then like my man is unloading ammo into those people who are laying on the floor. There are women and children there.
Well, dude, okay, I understand. But it's like I'm not new to scary situations. I had a knife pulled on me once, and I've gotten into fights before. And granted, I'm not proud. Like I don't I don't typically go looking for trouble. It's just that in the Boogaloo, like I don't know. I had this idea, of just like I don't know. It's difficult to explain.
I got you. Like, I'm like, understand something. This is not like me chastising you or anything of this nature. I just want you to understand that, like, it's a whole different animal. Like, you can play Madden all day. You step behind that fucking line and get hit by a 300-pound lineman. It's a fucking different animal. It's a whole different thing in real life. You know what I mean? Like, real life is not like the avatar on a video game. It's not a first-person shooter. Like, you can approach it in that manner and you'll find out very quickly that it is just it's a whole different thing, and it's fucking scary, and people are trying to kill you, and there's smells and there's sounds and there's shit moving around and you don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, it's a whole different thing when you're in the shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, yeah, dude, gunfights are very chaotic. They absolutely are.
Well, it's not just that. Imagine you walking in, right? Like, you walk into a city and, like, fucking, it's dark and it smells and, fucking there's, like fucking cats and dogs like roaming around and shit. And, squirrels and skunks and raccoons all over the fucking place. And, the trash cans move around and whatnot. And fucking, like, everything around you is alive, right? And all you have are these shitty fucking street lights, or like, even if you're in there in the daytime, like, you never know who the fuck's hiding behind any wall. There could be anybody in a window, snipers on a fucking roof. Like, again, you got to watch that fucking video. I posted the link in the fucking chat so everybody fucking has it and shit. You know what I mean? Legit, you got to watch that video and understand that, like, it is not what you fucking think. Like, it's a fucking whole different fucking animal. Like, it really is. Like, I don't even know how to describe it to you. Like, cause like I've been in the hood where like the cops aren't allowed to go, and it's very fucking dangerous. Like, it's extremely fucking dangerous. Like, I've watched men get stabbed, right? I've fucking, like, I've stood there and robbed people. You know, I've fucking sat here and, you know, turned fucking blocks into Beirut where niggas was getting pelted with fucking beer bottles and shit.
Whoa.
Leave their house for 3-4 days.
Dude, wait. Did you say you robbed people?
Yeah.
So you used to be a criminal? Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you're not a criminal now. I mean, like, I hope you learned your lesson.
Like, you know, well, it's not even so much like I learned my lesson. You know, I'm old. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, I can't jump fences no more. I can't run from the cops anymore. You know, I mean, getting hit in the face hurts for weeks. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, it's a whole different thing, dude. Like, like, it's a whole different thing when you're in the shit. Like, it's, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yo, like,
I totally understand, bro.
I went from the country to living inside of a homeless shelter, right? Like, when my parents divorced, my mom moved us into a fucking homeless shelter and shit.
Now, thankfully, I never lived in one of those ghettos, but like I've only had a few situations where I had to go to one. And believe me, I would never want to work in a place like that. But yeah, I have been in like scary situations before, like that one like crackhead. Like I was the only person on the subway. He fucking gets on the subway, and it's like this very eerie looking skinny dude wearing a hoodie, very raggedy, dirty clothing. He slowly approaches me. I didn't make much of him at first, but when I saw him getting closer, he fucking pulls a knife on me. And like this happened in like fucking Halifax, and so I kick him in the chest. I knock him down. Like, and again, like, aiming a kick that high is not a good idea, but he was pretty short. So I knocked him the fuck down, and I got off that subway. I never went back to that fucking city after that, just so you know. Like, shit like that, I try to avoid that as much as possible.
Like, yeah, man, like, you don't, man, listen. I've watched dudes stand here and they'll ask somebody for a cigarette, and when the guy reaches in his pocket, they'll grab his fucking hand and put a gun in his fucking face. That quick. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
it's that quick.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, it's like, dude, when, like, if I ever, like, for whatever reason, like, have to pass through, like, a ghetto, which, like, I don't think that would ever, like, I would avoid going into any area like that, but, like, if I ever have to pass through, like, a city, like, first of all, I'm gonna roll my windows up. Second of all, I'm definitely not gonna fucking talk to strangers. Well, like, you shouldn't talk to strangers, period.
What are you, like 6?
No. But like, it's like when you're in like the city, you really shouldn't be talking to random people in case, you know, they try to, like, I don't know, like with me, I'm a pretty private guy. Like, it's not that I do talk to strangers if I, like, you know, but generally speaking, if I'm in a city, I try to be like the gray man. You know, I try to not be like noticed.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I operate. Cause like, dude, like I've seen live leak videos. Like, I've seen a lot of shit on the internet, and it's fucked. Like, you know,
like, yeah. you remember all those people who were getting beat up at the Chuck E. Cheese's and shit?
Oh, dude, I remember that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember that? Yo, that was my Chuck E. Cheese.
Whoa.
Like, yo, legit, I come from these areas. Like, this is where I'm from. Like, I've watched motherfuckers get hit in the face with full 40 ounces.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Well, collapse to the ground with their fucking skull caved in and shit. Like, yo, it's a whole different animal when you're there. Like, yo, it's so sketchy. Like, man, listen, like, you just, like, you really can't know until you experience it. And, like, it's not fun. right? Like it was fun when I was like 15, 16, 18, 20 years old. And like it was, it was exciting back then, breaking people's jaws and, fucking motherfuckers up and, doing all the crazy shit we used to fucking do and like throwing rocks at the fucking cops and shit and whatever, fucking picking up alley biscuits and smacking people. Like it was a whole different animal back then. But like it's not what you think it is. Right, like you're gonna go in, like if you go into a city, what I'm saying, when shit hits the fan to go fucking collect scalps or like whatever, you're gonna stand outside and go, I'm here, whatever, I'm fucking here to conquer. Like, man, listen, like it takes one bullet, dead. End of the day, you won't even see it fucking coming. You won't even see the dude who shoots you. And that's the motherfucker about it. He said, "What's an alley biscuit?" All right, if you ever walk through like a city alley or like a like, I don't know, like a place in the city, like the streets will be all fucked up. So like it'll be like chunks of the fucking street like laying around. And like you pick that's an alley biscuit. It's like a big ass piece of concrete, right? Or you can be a small piece of concrete, or it can be a brick, right? Fucking that's an alley biscuit, right? Yeah, like
but yeah,
it's a whole different animal. Like when you're there and you're in it, it's a whole different thing. And like it's not.
I mean, like here's the thing. Like if I ever did go into a city and want to collect like scalps of my enemies, I wouldn't go in there and announce that I'm there. I'd be fucking stealthing it, bro. Like I wouldn't just say I have arrived. Prepare yourselves. I wouldn't.
There's a dude. Fucking what the hell's his name? Michael. Shit, Michael something. Michael Williams, I forget.
I thought an alley biscuit was a street turd too. Like I thought it was like a fucking AIDS infested turd at first as well.
No. An alley biscuit is like a fucking. It's a piece of the street. Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Fucking. I'm trying to think here. There's a dude named Michael Wallace. I don't know. He was a fucking former cop in Baltimore, right? And he was on Joe Rogan podcast. He's a super lefty, right? But like he has some amazing stories about being a cop. And one of them is like he used to go undercover down into Baltimore, right? And like down in like I used to like hang out down in Baltimore, like Lexington Market and fucking down off of Holabird Avenue and shit. And like fucking Baltimore sketchy. But like he'd say he'd go down there and like, he'd have tattoos hanging out, fucking street clothes, just trying to like walk through. And like the moment he'd walk through, the moment he'd hit the fucking block, like a 4-year-old would look at him and go and like turn around and be like, yo, Knockers is coming. And like fucking, it was immediate. Everybody knew that the cops were on the block. Like, yo, stealth is not easy in the city. Like it's really fucking not.
Fair enough. And also, to be fair, to respond to Tennessee Marine, I don't actually want to go collect scalps. Like I wouldn't actually willingly put like in self-defense. It is what it is, but I wouldn't actually like purposely go to a city and try to like play like and have BFG division playing and like no, I wouldn't do that because like again it's. Like Pinoid said, there's way too many things going on, and I can't see in every direction. And all it takes is one bullet, Like I don't have power armor or cybernetics or anything like that. So if I get hit in the right spot, I'm dead.
Yeah, and let's be real here. All right, yo, body armor works, but so well, right? Like a bulletproof vest protects you up to a certain level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like eventually you start getting them plates, it starts weighing you down and not being able to let you move as much as you want to. It's a trade-off. So like that's kind of where it's at. Like there's a reason why like military hardware is designed the way it's designed, right? And they had them big plate carriers and shit. Like they don't do a fuck ton of movement with those plate carriers. They're made to like, protect your vital areas while you crouch behind something or you dug in or you have a decent position. Like you're not going to be fucking running long distances to get the fuck away from shit. And that's kind of part of like moving around inside of a city is you're going to have to be mobile. Like, and again, I say like, yo, fucking the cities are going to be diabolical. Like they're going to be in such terrible fucking shape because they're just not going to get any food. They're not going to have any money coming in. They're not going to have any.
There's going to be so many people killing and raping and pillaging and fucking like, there's going to be people eating each other. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah, it's gonna be fucking awful, right? But like, you know, I only stood here like, you know, I fucking told you this shit, you know what I mean? Like try to like get on you a little bit because I was like, yo, look, man, like you just fucking rethink your mentality because like it's not like, we all think we're invincible when we're young. Believe me, we're not. Like I watch kids your age die.
And,
you know what I'm saying? Like I have friends of mine who didn't make it the fuck out. You know, they're in the fucking cemetery and shit. It's not.
And it is horrible. And I'll be honest with you though. Like I appreciate your honesty, bro. I appreciate that. I really do.
He said we learned to deal with all that weight. Tennessee, look here, all right. You are not running your fucking top fucking speed that you can run with that plate carrier on, because once you take it off, you can run even faster, right? It's a trade-off. It is what it is. Anyway, this has been about 2.25 hours. I'm saying we're 2 hours, 14 minutes. I'm going to shut this bitch down. Do you have any other questions you want to ask me, man, before we go?
Oh, no, thank you. But do you have any questions you want to ask me?
No, but like fucking look at that video I put in the chat for you. You know, I will send it to you on Discord if you need me.
And also, I have to say, Tom Pinoy, it's been a pleasure, man. It really has been.
Dude, but fucking thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure fucking having you on as well, man.
You're welcome, what I mean? Man. Thank you.
You have anything you want to shell out? Anything you want to like, spread the word about?
Well, okay, we got to take women's rights away. And other than that, I'm just a random guy who came in here, and I gotta say it was not wasted time. It was fun. However, I will say, I was under the impression that like, because of how you talk, because you speak in like you speak in a very like street lingo type of way, but it's like. But like you're like 99% of people who speak like that tend to be stupid. You're an exception though, and to be fair, I actually like listening to you because you're fucking hilarious, Pinoid. But yeah, I don't really have much to shill out. But yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Thank you for coming on. It's appreciated. Thank you everybody for coming out to watch. You know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you share this bitch out because fucking Wojcicki does not like Tom Peace. All right. In the meantime, I'm gonna holler at y'all motherfuckers later. Peace be like one.